Welcome back. At stake in Tuesday's primary, nothing short of the heart, soul, and future direction of the Texas Republican Party. Rudy, Mark Jones seems to believe Governor Abbott has a solid shot to dislodge just enough anti-school choice House Republicans to fulfill his vendetta. Do you agree?
It depends on what type of school choice you're talking about, Greg. I don't think Abbott has enough and has done enough to flip enough seats to get his education savings account plan passed. You see, the big problem is that it's not real school choice, only a limited and very expensive voucher idea. I do think that his statewide road trip revenge tour, however you want to call it, has provided enough traction for a bill that would create universal school choice, that being your tax dollar following your kid to the school system that you want. That's why my word was Winnebago. He's like the governor, a tourist barreling down a two-lane rural road in an oversized RV. Look out, here he comes. But with so much roadkill in the wake, Abbott will have to do a lot of fence mending and bridge building because he has angered a lot of people considering themselves physical conservatives, and now they're being called rhinos. That's being tossed out a lot, right?
All right, Stephen, it's going to be a tough act to follow, but I'm going to ask you this. Abbott has once again risked a great deal of political capital in his bid to mash a voucher program through the Texas legislature. Will he pull it off this time, and what's the cost?
Well, first, yeah, I'm not as eloquent or wordy as Rudy Koski, so we'll get that out the way. Can Governor Abbott pull it off? Sure. Will he is uncertain, and I'm bouncing off of what Rudy said because it's not an uphill battle. We're just talking about a handful of seats here, and some of these members are retiring, and so he's just trying to get his people in. And so the real thing is, the real heart of this is, how many Republicans at the end of the day are still going to believe that public money should go to public schools? Can he do it? Has he exerted a ton of political capital? Yes, but I don't think he'll be hurt by it if he fails because the border is his bread and butter right now.
All right, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton going after a slew of House Republicans who voted to impeach him. My guess is he'd happily settle for a single win, that being an ouster of House Speaker Dade Phelan. Rudy, what's your take?
Contraire. I don't think he gets the speaker. I think Dade Phelan has put together a pretty good-looking ground game in Southeast Texas by what I've seen. I think Paxton's best chance for a win is the State Criminal Appeals Court, where he's trying to unseat 3 Republicans who did not give him the power to launch his own voter fraud cases that he wants to do without local approval. I don't think that the average voter really understands that the judges were upholding the state constitution, and that is where Paxton, I think, might get at least a partial win.
Okay, Stephen, to the Democrats. Looks like North Texan Colin Allred is set to coast through the primary and face Ted Cruz in the fall. Mark Jones talked about his ability to attract national progressive dollars and the absence of Democratic opportunities elsewhere in the country to poach a Republican-held Senate seat. Could we actually be looking at a serious race come November?
I mean, the Democrats nationally are going to make it a serious race. They're going to throw a ton of money at this race. Ted Cruz, in a conversation on our air, said that months ago, saying that Democrats are going to throw a lot of money at this. But at the end of the day, a Democrat has still not won a statewide elected office in decades in Texas. And we are at a moment in time where the reddest of red meat is out and it's not going anywhere. I mean, we're in a time where John Cornyn is being called a rhino, where certain Republicans who might have been considered something else are being called rhinos. And so I just think with more Republican registered voters in the state, more energy, and Donald Trump on the ballot, likely, that Colin Allred still is going to have a very hard time.
Okay, Rudy, on to Washington, from whispers of retirement to now running for majority leader. Big week for Senator John Cornyn.
Right. You know, last year we were hearing rumblings that the senior Texas senator was looking to head to the back 40. But in the past 6 months, he seems re-energized. And Thursday, tossing his hat into consideration for the leadership that Mitch McConnell says that he's leaving. Cornyn has the resume, but he's also been attacked. As Stephen said, a lot of people calling him a rhino because he initially didn't support Donald Trump. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to how that shakes out. But, boy, he's energized.
All right, Stephen, your thoughts. 30 seconds.
Greg, John Cornyn has the energy, and you can say he's back. Now, while he did say the Republican Party has passed Donald Trump months ago, he's on Trump's side, regardless of he's being called a rhino. And he's taking the gloves off when it comes to Ken Paxton, saying you can't run if you're in prison.
All right, well, let's leave it there. We're going to watch that one. You can see the interview or any of our past interviews by going to our YouTube pages.
And reach out to us on social media to keep the conversation going.
And with the primary vote Tuesday, we're starting to look at the big issues that will take us to November. So don't forget to let us know what you think the issue is.